How Research Office notification groups will be managed in the funding service. In this session, Damien will be looking at how Research Office notification groups will be managed in the funding service.
Great. So one of the other pressing needs that we are looking to introduce in the near future is around the fact that a lot of research organizations, universities, etc., have a decentralized research office setup where you've got research officers looking after different departments or faculties, etc. And currently it's one big bucket for an organization and everything goes through that bucket. What we're looking to do is to enable these organizations that have different groups or departments or faculties to be able to manage the notifications that are received through the funding service so that they can manage their workload more effectively. So let's go to the next slide. And so we're introducing the concept of groups. I guess it's similar to what many of you might be used to as pool structures in JES. And really our first foray into this area on the funding service is really about managing notifications. I mean, if you're in the engineering department, you probably are not interested in research, in grant proposals being set up in the biosciences department or whatever it might be. So this is going to enable you to set up your groups that align with the way that your organizations are set up, and enable you to assign people to certain groups so that essentially those people can work on their own departments and not be bothered with noise from other departments. It is optional. So we also know that there are a lot of, I guess, smaller organizations or organizations with a more centralized setup that will manage all of their organization's activity. And therefore, it's really about you being able to set up your organization the way you need it to be set up, and also to give you the power to manage that into the future. So we're very, very conscious that organization departments change over time, and we're really putting that in your hands to manage that over time. Let's go to the next one. So it'll be a case of when we release this feature in the very near future, you'll be able to come and create a set of groups for your organization. And so most of you will set that up in a way that mirrors your departments or schools' faculty structures. You can add the different people in your research office across your research office administrative staff to each group. You could belong to multiple groups, but importantly, when an applicant starts a new application, they'll choose a group that their application should belong to. I'll demo this shortly, so you get to see what this looks like. And then when the applicant has selected a group that their application will belong to, then only the people or only the research office staff in that group will be notified as that application progresses. And if it's in the wrong group, you can change it. So that's also in your control. So we'll go to the next slide. Importantly, ahead of this feature being released, we wanted to tell you about it, which we're doing today, so that you can prepare. It's important to note a few things because you'll ideally have a few things in place in advance. Firstly, have a think about what kind of groups that you would like to set up, and have a bit of a structure ready. It is not hierarchical. It's a flat structure at this stage. So think about that, and think about the groups you'll have and who's going to be in them. And now when you've, I guess, identified or perhaps someone it's a good idea to identify someone in your organization who'll be responsible for setting up the groups. But also when you're thinking about who is going to belong in those groups in terms of research office staff, you'll need to contact the help desk, who can then set up all of those research office accounts for you, because as you're setting up your groups, you'll need to have those people in the system in order to allocate them to each of the groups. So,
Damien will now walk through a system demonstration.
so this is the research office dashboard that many of you will be familiar with. You'll see a new link that will appear down on your home screen for your organization that will allow you to manage your groups and notifications. And then when you click on that, you will come to this screen here, and this is where you can set up your groups. There's a bit of an explanation here in terms of how these groups work. And as you can see here on this sort of dummy example, we've gone ahead and set up a bunch of groups here, and I'll just walk you through what that is going to look like. Let's create a group name here. Let's maybe call this one history. You can give it a description if you need to. You don't need to give it a description, but you might find that is something that you want to do. Let's just call that one history. Oh, we've already got one, history 2. Okay. And then once you've created that group, then you can decide who is going to belong to that group. So as I said earlier, ideally you would set up all of the people that you would like to have accounts in advance. Maybe you already have some research office users set up on the funding service. If there's people that you want to add to groups, as I said, you'll need to have them added before you go ahead and do this. So in this case, I'm going to add a whole bunch of people here. And these are the people that are going to look after my history 2 group. And now I can see I've got this group, these people belong here, and these are the people that are going to be notified whenever an applicant starts whenever there's application activity within this group of history 2. And so that's what it is. That's the process of setting up the groups, and you can see we've got this management of groups here, the new one I've added there, and we've also got this ungrouped area. This is where applications will go if the applicant isn't sure which group their application should belong to, and you could assign people to that as well. So let me take you through the process of what it looks like to as an applicant when selecting their groups. So bear with me. So let's start an application here. I can confirm that I'm the lead. And then what the applicant will be presented with is the same set of groups that you set up for your organization. Hopefully in most cases they'll know which group they belong to, but if they're not, they can just put that they can't find a suitable group and carry on. So that's kind of the process from an applicant perspective, and I'll just quickly demonstrate what that would look like if you needed to perhaps change a group. So let's go into this list here. And so imagine we've got an application in progress here. I can look at this application, I can see the groups that it belongs to on the right. But if I find that group is wrong, or the applicant's chosen the wrong one, I can go and choose perhaps the correct one, or indeed allocate it to multiple groups if I need to. So that's a quick overview of the groups functionality. As I said, it's going to be worth your while to get ahead of the game in terms of setting up your right users. So please go ahead and do that. And we look forward to this feature being used more and more into the future.
So, that is how Research Office notification groups will be managed in the funding service. If you have any questions or need more guidance, please go to the UKI website and navigate to the How to Apply for Funding pages, where you can find further information and support. For any queries, contact the Funding Service Help Desk by emailing support@funding-service.ukoi.org or call the Funding Service Help Desk on 017935 47490. If you would like more information,